There are 13 routes in total in this variant mode. We're going to be focusing on only the actions that result in a different note at the end of a duty. If you want to use the timestamps, this will help you navigate to the one that you might want to know about, or if you're stuck on something. Without further ado, route number 1 then starts on our left side at the start of the instance, down the residential paths. For route number 1 then, as we venture down that path, your first major decision will come when you get to a crossroads with a fruit tree. For this, we are going to go for route number 1, the right side, which is let's follow the fruit. After the defeat of the first boss, there is a trash pack, and then just after that there is a big clearing. The NPC will hang out here, and you will also see to the right side there is a small damaged fence. Interacting with the damaged fence will cause it to fall over, and this reveals a path down a muddy embankment. If we go down this muddy embankment, there is a new path. Once we have gone down this path slightly, you will see a nest full of baby birds, and there is a elemental sprite that is harassing them, trying to steal a piece of fruit. For this first route, we are going to kill the wind sprite. This will save the baby chicks, and Mummy Bird will come back basically to protect them. And of course, any decisions you make with any of these paths will have a knock-on effect with some of the mechanics on the boss itself. Once it is defeated, you will have completed route number 1. For route number 2, after the first boss on the left side residential route, we can find ourselves that breakable fence. Once again, like in route number 1, we are going to interact with that to reveal the embankment and a new pathway. Going down this muddy embankment, and a little while into that, you will find the nest. The sprite NPC, the Will of the Wind, will be attempting to steal fruit. Instead of killing it like we would in route 1, we are going to let it steal the fruit and simply move on. By doing this, you are affecting the mechanics on the last boss of the instance, but doing this and leaving the sprite alone will result in route 2 being completed when you defeat that boss. For route number 3, again on the left side of the instance, down the residential paths at the start, our first major decision should be, I have a good feeling about the other way when you get to the fruit tree. This will result in you going through a cave and fighting the genie boss. Moving down this pathway, eventually you will find these 2 wind sprites known as the airy wisps. These have an interesting blow attack. There is a small set of cracks in the barricade on the left side of this path at the top near the door entrance. Having the airy wisps cast ancient arrow in that direction and kiting that obviously in the direction of the broken fence will destroy it, revealing a pathway onto the far left side of the screen. Going through here and then defeating the final boss will result in you getting route 3 ticked off in your journal. For route number 4, our last route on the left side of the instance on the residential path, we are going to wait until we get to the fruit tree decision. We are simply going to follow the fruit as our first decision, and then after the first boss that we encounter that route, you'll see the clearing. We are going to walk through the clearing. We are not going to touch the damaged fence at all. A little down the path, we are going to find the wind sprites. Do not get them to attack the wall, and instead kill them normally in the open, and then go through and kill the boss like normal. This is a very boring route, very simple, but it is how you get route number 4 unlocked on your journal. Now we're moving on to the market paths, the right side of the instance. For route number 5, we are going down that right side path of the instance. After the first boss of the right side is defeated, i.e. the genie, and a few trash packs, you will have your first major decision at a crossroads. You have a choice of going after seaweed or going after the walk on a beach. You simply want to choose the seaweed option, which will take you the coral route to the right side. As we go down this path, you will eventually find a Gubu monster that is stood on a platform. This platform is surrounded by 4 gemstone piles. The Gubu has a suck-in ability, and simply you want to stand so that the Gubu sucks up each of the 4 stacks of gems until all 4 gem piles are consumed. Then you can defeat the Gubu. This will affect the final boss's mechanics with extra abilities, but this is required for route number 5 to be completed when you defeat that final boss. For route number 6 then, again on the right side through the Market District path, we wait until after the first boss to make our first major decision of the choice of which direction to go. We have the seaweed option once again chosen here, and we're going to go to the point where the Gubu is. We're going to pull it onto the bridge so that we don't accidentally feed it any gemstones, because it will eat them if you remember from the previous route. And then after the Gubu, there is a message in a bottle. We are going to read the message in a bottle this time, and that is all we need to do. Then we need to fight the final boss, and that is route number 6 unlocked in our journal. For route number 7 then, we are simply going to go after the first boss on the right side and wait until we have that decision. This time we are going to choose walk along the beach, and when we go down this section there is lots of different monsters to fight until you come across this giant conch shell. This time we are going to blow the conch shell. This will make a large racket, a Penuti will jump out the water, and that will affect the boss mechanics as you would imagine, but that is all that's required as long as you complete and defeat that final boss now for route number 7. And then route number 8, very simple. We are again after the first boss of the right side of the Market District choice. We are going to choose to walk along the beach, and this time we are not going to blow the conch shell. We are going to ignore that and then move on and defeat the final boss, and that will be number 8 completed. Moving on then to our middle paths, this is known as the gate paths. For route number 9, we have ourselves getting to the point where we have a split in the pathway, and you can choose between the floating rock platforms or the mushrooms. We are going to choose the right path, which is the mushroom path, and this time inside this cave you will find a large golem. You will also find 3 of these magnetic rocks that are currently not glowing. We are going to kite our way around this until one of our players gets the blue AoE above their head. You then place this blue AoE on the area near a magnet rock. It strikes the rock and makes it magnetized. It will make it glow purple. Do this with all 3 magnetic rocks, and that will be enough for you to enable an extra mechanic for the final boss down the middle path. Once all 3 purple rocks are now glowing, a wall will open. Defeat the golem and go through the wall, and you will find yourself a book on the floor. This is actually useful to decipher code for the Route 13, which is for a secret boss if you want to do that yourself. But that's where you will find the information for that to decrypt that, and then continue on and defeat the last boss like usual with those 3 glowing stones, and you'll get that route completed. For route number 10 then, again down the middle and straight on through the main room decision, we're going to go to the point where we have a choice between choosing mushrooms or floating rocks. This time we are going to choose the right path, which is again the mushroom cave. This time we're going to kill the golem on his own, and we are not going to allow him to drop AoEs on a player, and that will not hit any of the magnetic rocks. You don't want any of the rocks to be glowing for route number 10, and then once we defeat the final boss, that is route 10 completed. For route number 11 then, straight down the middle of the instance. This time we are going to wait until we get the decision of the floating rocks or the mushrooms, and we are going to choose the left path, which is the floating rocks. This time you will see there are 3 sort of giant rocks. One is on a raised platform, the other 2 are much easier to see. If you get your party to stand next to them, they pulsate. After a little while they will go a solid color instead of the dark color that they were before. That's how you know that rock is activated. Simply activating all 3 rocks in that area, dealing with that trash pack, and then moving on and defeating the final boss with the rocks enabled will get you route number 11 unlocked. And then finally for our normal paths, for path number 12, straight down the middle we are going to choose again the floating rock platform, and this time we are not going to touch any of the rocks. Make sure you don't accidentally stand anywhere near them. Do not activate them. It is a very boring path, and then is basically no other decision. You just defeat the final boss there, and that is all 12 normal paths through the instance. For our final route then, including the secret boss for Route 13, which is also granting you a quest, a title, and achievements, you will need to choose the right side of the instance once again, the market's path. This time, once we get past the first boss and we have a choice of the seaweed or we have a choice of the beach, we are going to choose the seaweed route. As we go past the Gubu and defeat that, you will find an altar that the NPC even talks about, like this is a place that maybe people worshipped at. If you actually follow the lore that you discover in Path 9, through the bit where you hit the magnetic rocks with the golem, if you remember, there is a book on a table that in Korvosi legend somebody stood at an altar and said, I am returned. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the altar, we're going to do /bow to actually activate the platform, and then we're going to do /say I am returned, the capital I there and an exclamation mark after returned. Once that is done, it will make all of the platforms suddenly glow more and have symbols. Each one of these symbols, once you stand on a platform, plays a tune. It's very pretty, actually. The solution to this puzzle, it does actually match the melody, but here you go. So the coral platform first, and then once we've done the coral platform, we then talk to the big conch shell by standing on it, and then the starfish, and then we have the pearl. And if you play them in that order, all of them will suddenly light up. The jingle jingle will make another jingle, and then a large bridge will appear, opening up the way to the final and secret boss for the 13th. I'm not going to show you the boss because I think that's best for you to experience on your own, but the area immediately afterwards, once you've defeated it, is well worth it for G-pose. And that's it pretty much for all of the routes. And once you exit the instance, it also unlocks a follow-up quest, which does result in granting you a title, which is pretty awesome. And the title then is the Professional Protagonist. For completing all of the routes, you get yourself an achievement, and the achievement unlocks a special reward. Unlike the other variant modes, this is not a mount this time, but actual face wear, which is slightly disappointing, if I'm honest with you. Usually we have a mount reward. This time we got face wear. The face wear in question then are actually these. These are face masks. You might remember a while ago, they added to the game face masks, which were effectively exactly the same. These were originally headpieces. Of course, these are faceware slot, so these do have the advantage of you can wear a piece of these faceware as well as a helm, right? So there is a bit of mixing and matching available. They come in a variety of different colors. The ultimate question at this point is a piece of faceware a good enough reward for people completing 13 runs of your variant mode? I personally do not think it is. I liked the uniquity of the mounts previously, and it was something for you to actually go and do. It was an extra little achievement. It was fun to, be rewarded for that. I personally do not think this is incentive enough for a lot of people who would do variant mode in the first place to actually go and do it. As soon as they realize there's no mount from doing the 12 routes, they are very likely not going to bother, and they're just going to farm potsherds for what they want and probably buy the stuff from variant advanced mode from the market board, because as far as I know, it's all market tradable, and even the Criterion mount is market tradable. So that's going to be up to you to let me know what you think about it, but personally I think faceware is a pretty poor option as a reward for doing 13 runs of a duty. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. Hopefully that was helpful, and I will of course see you all next time for more videos.